Hello, 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 hello. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so I feel like I've been in London and back today, but I've literally just come back in the door 10 minutes ago. I've been down your neck of the woods actually, Louise. I've been to Scunthorpe, and then I went to Cleason or somewhere.
Where?
Is that your way?
Where's that?
Cleethorpes.
Cleethorpes. Oh yeah, that's not my neck of the woods.
Not far. It's not far. I went to I definitely 100% went and looked at this. It was like a nightclub downstairs, and then upstairs was like a B&B, and like it's been closed for a while now, but it was 100% a brothel.
Yeah.
Like, with like the nightclub was seedy, all ripped out, and then you
Is
went
it on
upstairs.
the coast, Cleethorpes?
Hey.
Is it on the coast?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, is it sort of East Yorkshire or?
It was like Hull way, yeah, like
Hull, right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite rough there, I think.
Yeah, it was. You could tell something was going on in the rooms. That was for sure. Yeah.
Something not good.
There's a lot of evidence there for what might have previously happened. So anyway, it was. It might be a decent opportunity. So we'll see. Cool. What I want to do, Leo, are you with us? Can't see you, but hope you are.
Yeah, no, I'm just driving home. I'll be home in 5 minutes. I'm just listening in for the minute, and then I'll jump on when I get back.
No problem. So what I want to go through is, again, a lot of people are basically not tracking their essays like they probably should be. So I want to show you how I do it, and I've actually put this together, and I'm going to dump this video into Kajabi afterwards, and I'll put a link to this tracker as well, so that you've got it. But it's really important that you understand your numbers and your data at all times. So this is kind of how I do it, and it all feeds off these kind of 4 spreadsheets. Now, the good news is most of it automates, or pretty much all of it automates. So these are the 2 Zaps that I've set up, or that I currently use for my business. So one is this Zap here. It puts the bookings into this spreadsheet, and this Zap here puts the cancellations in this spreadsheet. All you have to do when you click on the Zap is marry the Zap to these columns here, and then every time you get a booking, it will automatically put the bookings in this sheet, and it will just continue to list the bookings. What this then does is you'll then have a booking snapshot by month. So it'll show you how many bookings you've got, what your gross revenue is, what your net revenue is, what your direct bookings, how many direct bookings you've done, your direct booking percentage, what commission you've given away to OTAs, as a percentage, what commission is that? What's your average lead time? So what's your average booking lead time from the minute someone books to the minute they stay? How many direct bookings have you created? If you are using a other platform apart from Uplisting, then you will have to tweak the Zap to have the original platform in there rather than Uplisting. Airbnb, Booking.com, TripAdvisor. So it gives you the percentage of what the bookings are, and then you can kind of make some decisions. Now, the data. These are all formulas, as you can see up here, so there's no need to tweak anything. You just need to plug the Zap in, make sure that your booking spreadsheet is filling this in here. And the key thing here on this, so this portfolio analysis then breaks it down by property. So it'll have every single property, how many bookings you've got for the month, how many nights you've got occupied, what your gross revenue is, what your net is, all the same columns that we just discussed: direct bookings, Airbnb bookings, TripAdvisor, lead time, blah, 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 blah. This changes here. So you just choose whichever month you're in, and it'll change the data. It'll change how many days. So it'll give you, your average occupancy. It'll give you a portfolio outlook here. Now, the key thing to this is your property name that you put in here must match your property name here. And that is by commas, spaces, apostrophes, everything. It must be identical. So, you know, if we put X, Y, Z in here, and I'll put a check-in date for, let's just say 1st of the...
Right, sorry, totally confused. So can you just say all of that again?
You can watch the video back.
What, where, to the
Hold
bit
on.
about the zap?
Just bear with me. Just bear with me. Hey?
I'm gonna have to replay it in slow motion or something.
So what I'm basically doing is all your bookings will come into here. You know, so these all come into here. This should work. I have a feeling it probably won't, but
Like from a zap.
from a zap, okay, it'll come into here. You know, booking advice. You might need to change a few of these to like currencies and dates. Check-in date. So booking snapshot. XYZ, and then what with your property name in here, what that should do, it's not, hold on, reference equals counts bookings I2, bookings, yeah, that's fine. Equals that. Hold on, no.
Do you not need DDMM?
Hey,
It's all right.
been longer. Right. So yeah, okay, this is gonna basically need all the information in here. But your information would zap in through these zaps here when you're connected through. So every time a booking happens from your booking channel, it should zap in. Let's just say this was on the 29th of 4th, 29. I did have all this set up, but for some reason the formula's lost. Give me 1 second.
I've been looking at
Once you can
spreadsheets
just plug
all
this in,
day.
I'll make that. Hey?
I've been looking at spreadsheets all day and my little mind's just exploded now.
It's once it's plugged in, it's like really easy to operate your business. I just to keep a track of it, I just need to get a couple of formulas. Equals countless bookings.
Robin, ice cream.
I'll get me one. B4 IB.
It's a new thing to go for an ice cream by yourself.
Hey.
It's a new thing to go for an ice cream by yourself.
All right, I've figured this out. I've figured it out, I think. So that needs to be. No, I haven't figured it out. Right, anyway, I'll tweak this and I'll put it in. But basically, in a nutshell, what this does is when you zap your bookings in here, they'll come in like this. You'll be able to zap every column in here, apart from this month formula column. But what will happen there is the month formula column. So you'll get like, say if you'll have like 3 or 4 bookings in here like this, and then this day's booked actually zaps as well from uplisting. The only thing that doesn't is May. So you'll see a gap here. So all you've literally got to do is like join that up. And then once this is joined up in your booking snapshot, you'll see there's 4 bookings in for May. It's not picking up the gross revenue because I need to change one of the column formulas, but then basically it would start picking up all that gross revenue would go into there. The net revenue would go into there from the total payout. And then because it was an uplisting booking, it would sit in the uplisting channel here. Average lead time, you can see there's 2 days because basically all these bookings have got an average lead time of 2 days. So you see the data starts to populate itself through the spreadsheet. So this is kind of a monthly outlook. And then this one, if the property was called, X, Y, Z, then I just need to fix these columns, but effectively it would show you how many bookings you've got for that property, how many nights are full, what the occupancy is based on 31 nights as a percentage. And then again, it'll go through gross revenue, net revenue, where it came from, etc., etc. So this is what I use. And then what I do is these here, these are filtered. So if it goes 15 nights or more, it goes orange because I think you want to be trying to get booked. For me, 14 nights is about break even. That's when you start to, break even. Anything after that, you start making profit. 15 to 24 is kind of what we're aiming for. And then anything over 25 nights booked goes green. So what I do is this all automatically happens. All the color coordination automatically happens. So every Monday and Wednesday when I'm looking at pricing, I will basically focus on, depending on where we're at in the month. Obviously, it's the first week in the month. Not too concerned if there's a lot of red there. But as we go through the month, I do start to get concerned with redness in there, and I start to then hone in on those properties. If you've only got a few, obviously it's easy to look at them all, but when you've got datas and datas and datas, you've got to try and just zone in on what's what. So for me, I use the color coordination, but basically by middle of the month, I want most of these columns to be yellow. So I'm at my break even point by middle of the month. And then I'll be tweaking prices to try and push this forward, keeping an eye on the overall picture, the overall occupancy, and where bookings are coming from. So that's how it works, and it should easily plug in. If you have a channel manager that doesn't zap data into here, you'll just have to manually put it in. You just have to manually put it in. You could potentially download it onto a Google Sheet, which then zaps it into this Google Sheet. But either way, you're going to have to type it in and put it in there. So it depends on your channel manager, whether it's hooked up with Zapier or not. And then that gives you an outlook, and that's how you then manage your occupancy. It's then how you manage your data, you manage your things. And then what you can also do is you can just, look back. So if, say, if we're in December and you wanted to find out where you're at in February, you just click February and all these figures will change as long as this data here is never touched. So once it goes in here, it's never touched, and the property ID has to be exactly as that one is down this list of names here. So the property name has to be exactly how it's written here. So you can then, filter through all your different years, all your different data. Obviously, as you go into another year, you just start another spreadsheet and just, continue to, and then link your zaps and stuff up. But for now, you can get 12 months worth of data. You get a monthly snapshot plus a detailed portfolio snapshot. So that's kind of what I do to keep on track of where I'm at with each unit and how each unit's performing, and how we then really focus in on which units are underperforming and need a bit more attention than maybe the units that are performing. And then because it also here gives you your average nightly rate, again, you can like circle through. So, okay, in Jan it was that, in Feb it was that, in March it was that. And what you can see is what corresponds to average nightly rate and a green figure, average nightly rate and a red figure, average nightly rate and an orange figure. And you can start to see, okay, well, when I have my property at £75 a night, I get green. When I have it at 95, I get red. So then you can start to like really figure out what your nightly price is for that particular unit as you circle through all the different months of going through the data. So that's what I want to show you. I am going to dump this into Kajabi. I'll tweak the spreadsheet so these formulas all work. I know what's happening. I just need to change this column here because I deleted a column here from my original spreadsheet. So that'll be a quick fix. And then it'll all work. You will literally just need to map your bookings up and then pop your property names in here, and it should all work seamlessly. The other thing that I want you to focus on as well is just kind of your activity levels around certain core KPIs within the business. So I run these in quarterly sprints. So there's 13 weeks in a quarter typically. So you'll see here there's 4 quarters. And what I want to do is at the end of each week, so we want to know, right, what was the booking value last week? So whatever, 7 grand. How much of that was direct bookings? 6,500. How many damages did we have reported for? Average cleaning time was, 90 minutes. What's the monthly portfolio occupancy? So I'll jump to this. I'll have a look at this figure here, and whatever that figure is, I then put it in there. So, it could be like middle of the month, and it'd be like 50%. Guest satisfaction score, so is whatever, 4.6. I tend to take Airbnb as a guideline for that, because I think Airbnb are very good at getting reviews in volume over booking.com and other channels. So if you use something like what's the bloody software we used to use to get communication, whatever I can't even remember its bloody name. I've not been using it for a few months. If we use a software that gives you a breakdown of it because they collect their own, then you can use that. All we're looking for here is data. So we want to know whether this is going up or going down. Google reviews. So I push my team to get Google reviews. I want them to be getting reviews not only on the platforms but on our website as well. So you might whatever 2. And then this is kind of more in the acquisition side of things. So like how many development or BRR, or you can actually add in there, you can add whatever KPIs you want in here, just make sure it's all the way through. So you could also put in there like rent to rent, viewings, and you want to be like tracking your numbers. So I've been on 5 of them, I went on 10 of them. How many assets have we acquired? 1. How many managed units have we agreed? 2. How many rental units have we agreed? 3. So then you're just kind of like tracking it through. And what you'll find is the more that activity you put up here, the more that these numbers are positive as opposed to zeros. So they're like kind of the core KPIs that I think most should be focusing on right now. And, if you've got no SAs up and running yet, just focus, on these KPIs. And then obviously those that have got SAs on, you want to be focusing on these as well. So you're looking at both the acquisitions and the operational side of the coin. So I know there's going to be questions on this, so please hop off mute. Feel free, ask away, and I'll try and answer as best I possibly can.
Okay, I got a question. So I'm not using Zapier for anything currently in my business, so I don't really know how it works. So can you just give me a quick rundown of how it works, and does it work on anything? I mean, what is it?
Zapier is the best tool if you want to become an automated ninja. So it really, honestly, I cannot tell. I mean, I don't know how many zaps we've done this month. 3,671 tasks have been done by this machine here rather than a person. So if I attach, I don't know, let's go 2 minutes a task, 3,671 times 120 is 4,440, divided by 60 is, no, that can't be right. 3,671 times 7,342 minutes divided by 60. 122 hours so far Zapier has saved me, assuming that each of one of those tasks is 2 minutes. But in brief, this is how it works. So you can pair any app with any other app. So for this, I'll go through the uplist and bookings one since it's relevant to this. So what basically happens here is when uplisting creates a booking, so new app, so uplisting and a new booking comes in. I choose the account, my account. I test the trigger. So the trigger test is all this data here will come in. So there's booking, there's a test booking. Continue. What I now need to do in Zapier, unfortunately, likes to work in kind of US dates and time frames. So what you want to do is format any dates. So you can see here that I'm going to format by Zapier a date and a time. So I set up that a format when this date, the check-in date comes into Zapier. I wanted to format it into that date format, and then I want to deliver it through this Zap. I do the same here for the, I think it's the checkout date or the book that date. So I've now got the core dates that I want in here, which I've got check-in date and my book date. They're now in the right format. So they're going to drop into the spreadsheet in the right format for me because I'm obviously in the UK. And then it's going to basically create a spreadsheet row in, so here, create in Google Sheets, create a spreadsheet row. In which account? My account. What's the action? So in my 2021 forecast spreadsheet, in my bookings worksheet document, so yours would be in your SA KPI tracking spreadsheet, in your bookings worksheet, you will then basically the date goes from book that date, so which I chose from that Zap. I've got my property name, which is coming from uplisting, which is here. I've got my check-in date, which is coming from my other date tab. I've got my booking value, which is coming from uplisting. So you just map the columns where you want the end output to be. Go all the way through, test your action, click submit and test. Test was successful. Bang, bang, bang. And then you should get a new row in your spreadsheet like this. And then all you do is turn your Zap on. So, I mean, mine should be on. Yeah, so mine's already on. And then every single time uplisting creates a booking, it just automatically dumps it into this Google Sheet. And then Google Sheet then dumps it in. And then the formulas then pick it up from the booking sheet into these sheets. So at any time, you can log in and see how many bookings you've had today. And you can also see, okay, what is my real-time occupancy? What is my real-time gross revenue? What is my real-time cancellations? You know, because it'll also, every time there's a cancellation, it'll put it in here with a cancellation, and therefore it'll take it out of your portfolio analysis. So your real-time data is exactly what you're earning. There's so many things you can do with Zapier. I mean, like, I've got just zaps upon zaps.
So you've obviously got, so you got Zapier connected to Uplisting, your channel manager.
Yeah.
And does your channel manager pull through the price after commission on like booking.com? Because I think Airbnb and booking.com, they work slightly different on mine.
Yeah, so you have in here, so I have booking value and then your total payout.
Yeah, what I'm saying is when it pulls, so my channel manager, when I get a booking on Airbnb, the price it will say on my booking on my calendar will be the price after commission. But then the price on booking.com that comes through is the price without taking off the commission, if you know what I mean. So can I make it so one doesn't take off the commission? What
you
know what I
could,
mean?
you'd have to create 2 booking tabs here. You'd have to have one for Airbnb and you'd have to have one for booking.com.
Yeah.
You could create a Zap with a filter through it so that it only sends Airbnb ones to this column. It only sends booking.com ones to that column. And then ultimately that'll feed into the spreadsheet, which is a bit of mapping and a bit of data, but nothing too complex. Zapier is very straightforward. Like I've got 209 Zaps currently active. So just constantly doing stuff for me. You know, all these are different apps.
How much does this cost, this software, whatever?
It depends. It's dead cheap to start off with. I think it goes to about, I think I'm on, I don't know, I couldn't tell you what I'm on. Manage plan. It starts at like $20 or something. It's not expensive.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm on a Pro 5000 plan. So you start at 300 tasks a month, 950. So I'm on the,
That's cool.
what am I on? The 299 plan.
So was that one task that you went
$90?
through?
That's one what?
Was that one task that you just went through then with the Zap?
No, there'll probably be 4 tasks involved in that one Zap. So because it has like the different formats and stuff like that. So, but you can connect, you know, you can connect any app with any Zap. So not any, but they do have pretty much, you know, you could have, you know, we could go uplisting and we could, when a booking's updated, a booking's removed, a new property's triggered, a property name, whatever, and then we could have an action to drop a message into Slack.
Oh, that's cool.
Or you could have, it doesn't even need to be uplisting. You could have, you know, Facebook. It's quite often Facebook pages. Every time someone, you know, new post on your timeline, new post by you, new recommendation. So you could have this on your business page. You could then have set up a Gmail account, and it could then send you an email to say you've got to leave.
That's brilliant.
So honestly, you can play around with Zaps and you can automate your life.
Yeah.
And then if a Zap ever turns off or it continues to fail, you'll get an email notification, and then it goes in your Zap history here. And then you can always just rerun the Zap once you've reconnected it or whatever it might be. You know, so you just see here, booking, you know, booking. Calendly team, someone's booked a call, someone's gone into one of my funnels, someone's booked a call, you know, new client in Kajabi, new post. So when all you guys post in the Facebook group, I get a Slack notification, and that's how I can get in there and answer really quickly. So a lot of people are like, oh, you jump all over my stuff very quick. It's because I get a Slack notification on my phone to say someone's posted something in the group. Like here, there we go. So because I've put this video up, new video in Eminence group posted like half an hour ago. So you can do so much with Zapier. It's a really powerful tool.
Cool.
Any more questions? I will get this uploaded in Kajabi, Stephen, because I know you kind of joined a bit late there, so I was just kind of giving a run through it. I need to make a quick tweak on the actual tracker because there's a lot of formula broken. I just want to make sure I get it right. But in essence, I was just kind of showing how I use this spreadsheet to run the data around my SA business, and I use Zapier to automate as much of it as I possibly can. And because I think we're going into a very busy period, you know, we're doing, you know, almost five figures a day at the minute in terms of bookings. So I know the last 3 or 4 days have certainly been that, you know, absolutely jam-packed this weekend. We've been busy this week. So, you know, the more data we've got or the busier we get, the data side of things gets pushed to one side, and then before you know it, you're like, oh shit, that property actually didn't perform that last month, but because you're so busy on other stuff, you forget about it. Whereas, you know, every Monday at 2:30 p.m. is in my diary, and I go in and I have a look at what properties still need booking for that week, because I think by that point, all your contractors have booked for the week. So I have a 3-night minimum stay, and so what I tend to do is I have a little look at the prices, and I also will adapt it to a 2-night minimum stay from that point, because the chances are someone's probably only going to book on Tuesday or Wednesday and not want to stay until Friday. So I kind of bring that back in line. And then on a Wednesday morning at 6 a.m., I mean, it doesn't have to be 6 a.m. It's just that that's the time I do my work. So, and on Wednesday morning at 6 a.m., I feel like most people have booked for the weekend by that point. So if they haven't, again, I'll go in and I'll make some tweaks for the properties that haven't got weekend bookings at that stage. I've done that religiously for many, well, since day one, to be fair. And it has really, really helped just keep things driving, keep the prices right. I'd rather do, you know, I'd rather make £5 a night than let a night go empty, you know, and I just think there's, by doing stuff like that, you think you're selling cheap, but then you look at your numbers at the end of the month and you're like, actually, that did all right, that property, you know, even if some nights you're selling them cheap. And also the amount of times I've like done a stupid low price and long booking, and just getting people in your world, on your database, so we can ring them. And but we need to be able to look at data to understand, because as once you've got, you know, hundreds of properties, or even just, you know, tens of properties, sometimes it's hard to pinpoint which ones are performing and which ones aren't without going through every single one, and that can be a bit of a task. What we're trying to do here is just pinpoint underperformers and pinpoint what turns the needle on for most of these properties, and you can do that by looking at your data. So that's what that spreadsheet's designed for. So I'll get that formula tweaked now. I'll get this all downloaded. Obviously, it is on Facebook as well, but I'm going to put it in Kajabi so it's there, easy access, and I'll put all the links to the Zaps and to get a copy of the tracker as well on there. It'll be in the delivery of property section of Kajabi, and I'll ban that in now, so that should be in there within the next sort of 10, 15 minutes.
I've just got one quick question just to drop in before we finish up. So I've got a major, it's not a major issue, but it's a major task that I'm just struggling to automate, and it's basically when a guest books and fills out the wish box, or Doob, or whatever it's called now. They select what bed layout they want, whether they want them doubles or singles or whatever. And it's something that I've got to manually message my cleaners on every check-in to let them know, because there's no way of them being able to see it. I get an email through to my Gmail or whatever to say, you know, this is what they've completed and this is their bed layout. But I've got, I guess with the Zap, I can zap that email to the cleaners. Can I do that? Is that any? I'm trying to get around, and it's the same with when they book a late checkout or an early check-in. I have to manually tell the cleaners that they've got an early check-in or a late checkout, and it's just like this thing that every single morning I've got to constantly look what check-ins today, what have the guests filled out.
You charge them extra for early check-ins, and
yeah, £25 for an early check-in, £25 for a late check-in.
So. Wishbox, that was the platform I was thinking of before that we used to use. I don't think that links with Zapier, but I'll just double check for you. Wish. No, it doesn't. So
yeah, it's not an app. Wishbox isn't an app. It's like a desktop thing, isn't it?
We used to use it, like, so I know. Right, yeah. So you could go. You're getting an email at the minute.
They've completed the pre-check-in and they've completed the custom questions, and one of the custom questions is, how do you want the bed layout? So
yeah, the only way you could, the thing with emails is anything on an email, it's on a HTML body, and you've got to kind of get something to read the email. There is a software that I used to use that is in Zapier and it reads it, but it wasn't that accurate, and it sometimes would pull the wrong information if there were spaces. Like if that email doesn't come through in the exact same format every time, it can cause issues. But even if it did, it can still cause issues.
Right.
So I probably wouldn't rely on that as a reliable solution. I would.
It's just so hard to get around. I just can't think of it other than to manually do it every morning.
Yeah, there probably is no real work around unless Wishbox ever plugs in with Zapier. Really, that's where they need like API feeds. You can actually recommend to Zapier apps that they're not with, so you can like say, I think, can you speak to these? This is one of the reasons I don't do zip link beds, because I think they're more hassle than they're worth. But you know, and but you obviously your upsells. Yeah, I mean, because you do your upsells on Wishbox?
Yeah, it's all done through Wishbox.
So if you had like your upsells to a WordPress website, then obviously you could probably you could trigger that from Zapier, and then that would go through. But for now you don't. So I'll have a think, but I'm not sure if there is a I'm not sure if there's a workaround for that. But I'll have a scratch in my head, and I'll see if I can come up with something.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
I'll let you know.
I mean, I was thinking actually about like an automated question. Sorry, now I was thinking about an automated question on Airbnb or Booking.com, because it comes up in the chat on my channel manager, and then I don't know. I was thinking about linking my cleaners to my chat, because you can show how much the cleaning team can actually see in the channel manager, whether they see the prices, the phone number of the guest, the name, all that sort of stuff, and you can tick whether or not they can see the chat. So I'm just trying to think whether or not I have to manually ask them and then they can see it. But it's just a major, like, whatever you want to call it, issue I can't get around.
Yeah, I'll have a think. I can't really think of anything really apart from just forwarding the email on, as you probably are. But
yeah,
I just can't really think of much else around that.
No
So
all right, no worries.
cool. Right, cool. I'll get all this uploaded, and then I'll just continue speaking with you on Voxer, and then I'll see you next week. Alrighty.
Cheers,
Cool.
man.
See you
Cheers.
later.
Yeah, guys.
Bye.